class. So here we are starting already week 4 of our Counsel for Career Planning class. And we're coming into the final stretch of learning about career exploration and the process of it and the different 5 steps that go into career exploration. So for the last couple of weeks, we learned about assessment. You did your ONET interest profiler. You got results with different interests that taught you about perhaps interests that could relate to careers you'd be interested in. You've done some research on a certain career related to your assessment results. And now this week, we're going to be talking about follow-up, things to think about moving forward in the career exploration process. And then we're also going to be doing your first major project, which is the career exploration reflection paper, which I'll be talking about in the second video on this page. So first, let's talk about this step 5, follow-up. So you've done your assessment, you find results of certain careers you can research. So then follow up in the career planning process, you want to design an individual career plan that's going to be based on your academic and career choices and goals, and then creating an organized career plan that allows you to prioritize these goals and interests. So when you're thinking about a career that you're really interested in, there's different factors that you want to consider. And some of these include timing, finances, location, and then family and personal issues. So it's important to use your creative thinking skills, to factor in how these particular factors might contribute to your decision as you move forward in the career exploration process. So the first thing you want to think about is timing. So say you have an idea of a career in your mind, say an example of nursing. You want to ask yourself, how much time are you going to need to invest before you actually start making money in the career? Will you need to spend additional time in school? So part of this last week's discussion and then your major project coming up this week is looking at a certain career and looking at how much education are you going to need? Are you going to need a license? Are you going to need a credential? Are you going to need a bachelor's degree? Are you going to need a master's degree? Are you going to need a PhD or a combination of those, right? And that's important because you want to be able to work out how long is it going to take to reach my goal where I can finally start working and making money in that career? So that is something to consider because you want to know how long the certification process is. Is there a specific amount of time and experience that you're going to need? And if so, can you afford to wait and work towards that goal, depending on how long that is? The second factor you want to consider are finances. You want to think about, is that career going to provide you with the kind of income that you need in the short term, and then the security you'll want in a longer term in your life? And also, what kind of investment will you need to make to be successful in the field? How much education are you going to need to pay for? Are there going to be certain tools or franchise fees? So this is something also to consider, is looking at the financial investment that you're going to be needing to do in order to get a certain type of education, as well needed for the career, as well as, is this career you're interested in going to make you the amount of money that you're looking for to be secure and stable going forward? Another factor you want to consider is location. Is that career going to require you to relocate? Is there going to be opportunities where you're living, or do you want to relocate and live somewhere else? And is that job available or that career available there? Is the ideal location for this career somewhere where you would like to live? And if you have family with you, or people depending on you, is that somewhere where your family would like to live? So in the ONET website, part of the features on that website that you'll be able to play around with, and I'll show in the next video, is looking at like what the outlook is in certain cities all over the US. Is there a bright outlook, meaning lots of opportunity for jobs for nursing, I'm using that example again, in Los Angeles, What about you want to move to San Francisco, and you can look up on that website, what does it look like in San Francisco? Does it have a bright outlook? So are there a lot of positions open? What's the salary like? And so on. And we'll be looking at that in the next video as I go through the instructions of that project with you. Another factor you want to consider is your family and any kind of personal factors. How will this career affect your personal and family life? Do friends and family members who know you well feel strongly for or against about the career choice, and how important is their input to you? Some of you, it might be very important that your family's on board. Some of you, not so much so. So that's something that you'll have to consider for yourself specifically. So part of the follow-up steps, the last part of the career exploration process, is you've done your research, you're looking at certain careers. So now what? How do you start taking action towards achieving those goals? So some things that are good to do are informational interviews, and that's where you actually get to talk to people in those fields of interest, so you can get information straight from the horse's mouth, right? So say, I'm using nursing as an example for this whole lecture, but say you think you want to be a nurse. You've done some research. So you want to find a nurse that you can talk to. What does their day-to-day look like? How long did it take for them to get a job? Do they like their job? What are the challenges? What are the perks? Any questions like that, so you can really get a feel for what it's like working in that field from people that are actually working there. You can also talk to family, friends, instructors in their chosen disciplines, other mentors. And also, once you're on the college campus, and you have access to it now as well, are talking to counselors, general counselors, career advisors that can help you both with the decision-making process within career planning and the educational planning process. So it's really good once you're in college to make sure that you are talking to counselors and career counselors to help you through this process of exploring your major and exploring your career. And you want to do that as early as possible when you get to college, because the sooner and the more often that you talk to a counselor, it's going to make it more clear to help you figure out exactly what classes you need to take to achieve that goal. So overall, career exploration, it doesn't just end with this week. It doesn't just end with this class. It's an ongoing process for you to do the work, to research and decide and pursue a career. The more you learn about yourself and the career options that best suit you, the more you will need to fine tune your career plan, because there's going to be lots of options that you realize, oh, I could be good at that. Oh, I could enjoy that. And then working with mentors, doing informational interviews, and working with counselors to realize and narrow down what you want to work towards. Don't be afraid to consider new ideas, but don't make changes without careful consideration. And like I said, talking to counselors is really a good idea. Career planning is exciting. Learning about yourself and about career opportunities and considering the factors that can affect your decision should be a core part of your thoughts while in college. So on the next video, I'm going to go through the instructions of this week's assignment, which is going to be your career exploration reflection paper. It's your first major project worth 100 points.